I have lived in Memphis now for 5 months, and I realized I haven't really had much of a chance to go out and explore any of the outdoor areas that Memphis has to offer. Today, we're going to change that. I decided I'm going to go check out T.O. Fuller State Park, and it's kind of in southwest Memphis, so I'm going to take the drive over there and see what it has to offer. Let's hit the road. So it takes about 20 minutes to drive down there, and I'm gonna get to be driving through a part of Memphis that I really haven't explored at all since I've moved here. So get to see a new part of the city. All right, so we have arrived. I didn't film a ton during the drive because one, I was driving, but also it's not a particularly photogenic area of Memphis. Definitely more of an industrial area. So a brief history lesson on this park. Originally, when it first became a park, it was the first one that was open to African Americans east of the Mississippi River. And it was named after Thomas O. Fuller, who was an African American pastor, educator, and someone who spent his life empowering African Americans. And so they named it after him in honor of all that he did for the city of Memphis and for the African American community as a whole. So the park is basically completely deserted today, which is pretty much what I was hoping for. There was a whole group of kids who were about to go walking on the Discovery Trail, which is the long trail here at T.O. Fuller State Park. It's like 3.2 miles or something along those lines. There are some pavilions that looks like you can reserve. That's my car. It's like the only one. There's another one over there. There's a baseball field. Over here is a little playground, and that looks like another pavilion of sorts. We have two pretty nice looking basketball courts. And if we're being honest, the most important part for me, we got a couple tennis courts. I've been looking for public tennis courts here in Memphis for 5 months. I'd play on these, for sure. Apparently there's a swimming pool. Obviously it's not open right now because it's November, but in the summertime, you can go back there and take a swim. I decided to come to the other side of the baseball field and try and see the pool a little bit. Looks like a nice little splash pad for the kids. Oh, this is a large swimming pool. I'm honestly impressed by this. It's gross right now, obviously. To be honest, coming to this end of the park with the sports stuff and the pool and the pavilions, it feels ghost towny. But I mean, here in the summer, there's plenty of stuff to do. This is definitely a good getaway, and especially if you live in the city in Memphis, like I do, it's a good little escape. And especially on a day like this in the fall too, you can get some fresh air, see some trees, just get away from the city a little bit. Okay, so from what I understand, this is a place called the Interpretive Center and the Shelby Bluff Center, maybe? Looks like a little visitor center, but it also looks very closed right now. But there are two trails, I think, that you can take from here. You have the Pond Trail, which is a loop and is about 2 miles, and then you have the Wildlife Loop, which is 1 mile and a little bit less strenuous. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like 3 minutes into this hike and it feels like there's some construction going on or something. We have a few of these big storage containers here. There's piles of tires, there's that big tractor back there, and it's weird. It's not it just doesn't feel like the trail is done. It feels like it's being worked on. Like the trail is paved and all, like you can see down here, but it feels like it's almost not super well taken care of or something. I don't know. Here the path divides up. From what I understand, it's a loop. So we are going right, and hopefully we'll come back out that side. Y'all see what I mean in regards to maintenance? Just feels like no one's come and trimmed this grass in months. Just feels like it's kind of just been left here. There's quite literally a tree that's fallen in front of this path. Well, trail just ended on me. Now, because this trail is called the Wildlife Trail, I was kind of curious why it was called that, or what kind of wildlife they're trying to showcase. But to be honest, I haven't really seen a whole lot of wildlife. But I have been hearing like little tiny bugs and small animals running around in the tall grass. I always hear stuff in there, but I haven't actually laid eyes on anything. All right, since the trail ended on us, I guess we are gonna try this way and see what happens. Okay, so I think I may have been mistaken. I think that place where we just went was the Spur Trail. I have ended up here at this three-way crossroads, and I believe this right turn goes back to the Spur Trail, but these two areas go onto the Wildlife Trail. So we are going to see if this takes me in a circle and see if I end up back here at this crossroads in just a little bit. We made it back to the crossroads. I guess at this point I'll head on back, explore a different area of the park. They're obviously doing some kind of construction down here. This part of the park feels more like what used to be a golf course or something rather than a state park. So I made it back to the car. I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest, with that trail. I was expecting a little bit more from a state park, but I figured this isn't the main trail that people come here to do. So before I leave, I'm going to try and go back and check out the Discovery Trail for at least a little bit and see what that one's like. But right now, we are going to go and explore the other parts of the park that aren't trail related, because I know there is a little bit more further into the park. So the other thing that's kind of lodged into this park is the Chucalissa Indian Village. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's an archaeological museum and park that shows the history of the Chucalissa Indians. The museum itself is $6 admission for adults, so I'm not going to go inside. It is a cool option and it has good reviews on Google. It could be a good family thing. This is actually the only other place that I've seen people in this park besides that visitors center and the Discovery Trail. And I believe it's a stopover on the Discovery Trail as well. So I actually have seen some people here, and it's all families coming to see this museum and hanging out and seeing the archaeological history. This is the center itself. It looks very nice. So before I left the park, I decided to come back to the visitor center because this is where the Discovery Trail starts. I don't have time to walk all 3.2 miles or whatever, but we're just gonna see how this is right now. All right, and onwards. First impressions, much more traily than the other place that I walked. And also it is absolutely covered in leaves. Not gonna lie, it's a little bit difficult to see the trail or what exactly you're stepping on. Okay, so this feels much more like a hike, much more of a workout, much more ability to kind of be in nature, which is kind of what I was looking for. So I might have to come back here another day and do this trail. It makes sense why no one was at the other trails because this one is the one to be at. So that concludes my little tour of T.O. Fuller State Park today. It was a little fun exploring day. I was a little bit disappointed. I was a little bit negative about the condition of the trail that I walked, the wildlife trail and the pond trail. It was all kind of overgrown and felt like a construction trail. But the Discovery Trail, it seemed much more like what I was looking for as far as hiking goes. And I didn't have the time today. But for now, I'm getting going. It's getting dark out. And so thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.